All right, it's 1 after 1 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on this rather kind of warm, kind of cold Sunday in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Today is Sunday, March 1st. I am Wes, the creator, co host, and social media manager of this Star Trek podcast called Twin Cities Trekkies, a Star Trek podcast talking about everything from the original Star Trek all the way to Star Trek Starfleet Academy and everything in between. And this is live episode number 15, talking about the latest episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 8, The Life in the Stars. Before we get into the discussion about the episode and other things on my mind, the live chat is open, so feel free to drop yourselves in and say hello. But to get in touch with us, it is simple. Send us an email at tctrekkiespodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to send us an email with anything you'd like to say. If this was one of your favorite episodes of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, it certainly was one of mine, you can definitely let us know, and I'll gladly read your email on the air. If you want to leave us a comment on social media, that's perfectly fine as well. The handle for Facebook is TC Trekkies Pod. The Instagram is Twin Cities Trekkies Pod, all one word, or you can find us out on Blue Sky. Search out TC Trekkies. We're also available on TikTok as well. Just search out Twin Cities Trekkie there. And you can follow us there for any video, for video updates regarding the podcast or anything of the sort. I do have a video update for episode 115. So definitely check that out. But if you want to leave us a comment in Spotify, you can definitely do that. This live stream audio will be available either on Tuesday or Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. You can leave us a comment there once the episode's available on Spotify. It takes about 1 day for the comment to reach back to us once you leave one. But just keep in mind that any emails or comments could be read on a future episode of Twin Cities Trekkies. So, it's the first of the month, and I don't have another episode for you folks yet. I'm so sorry. Life's got in the way. So, the last couple weeks. But I am working on it, though. The topic of episode 115 is going to be my favorite episodes from each season from Enterprise and the original series as we start to celebrate our 25th anniversary of Enterprise and the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. I have the Enterprise episodes picked out. However, I haven't put the original series episodes out yet. I'm working on it, though. That episode, I'm trying to get it done by this Friday, March 6th. So it'll be out. It will be out, and then I will be in touch with other people soon to talk about Star Trek. You know, there have been people who want to celebrate the anniversaries with us, but there's also other people out there that I need to get in touch with so they can be a part of the show as well. I know there's been a few of them out there, and it's been kind of chaotic the last few months. So it's not necessarily with me personally, but it's also regarding what's going on in the Twin Cities and stuff like that, where I live. So I'm gonna work on trying to get episode 115 out, and then we're gonna be trying to get the other ones scheduled and get them ready to go. And including the Star Trek film extravaganza, and then other things of the Star Trek stuff that we want to tackle before there could be a potential. I mean, I did not realize this, folks. So I didn't realize it, but I know I said a couple weeks ago that we would go dark if SAG-AFTRA went dark. Their contract expires on June 30th. However, the WGA one, which ended a few months prior to the SAG-AFTRA one, their contract ends on May 1st. So, and I'm hearing rumors that they're going to go strike again. So, excuse me. So, that may delay a few things regarding Star Trek. It may delay a lot of things with Star Trek. I mean, granted, as of this live stream, season 2 of Starfleet Academy has finished filming. And they finished filming season 2 of Starfleet Academy. Strange New Worlds is done. Was finished back in December before the Christmas holiday, and so season 5 has been filmed. It's all a matter of the post production, music, visual effects, but it may delay a renewal of Starfleet Academy if they decide to do it. So if they decide to do a third and fourth season, which they had planned to do a 4 season run of Starfleet Academy. So so it might be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, we might have to go dark sooner than we thought because I'm hearing rumors that the WGA may strike. I'm hearing rumors that they will strike anyway because there are unfair labor practices being happening right now. So, and it's over an awards ceremony that they're doing. So, yeah, excuse me. But if we will probably go dark sooner than we thought. So, but we will still be active on social media. We'll still be at con. We'll still be at Convergence. We'll still be at Twin Cities Con. We'll still do panels. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens regarding Twin Cities Trekkies. So we might go dark as soon as May 1st. So to show solidarity with our fellow writers who have written for Star Trek and who are doing other shows now. So who knows? Who knows what might happen? But I'm hearing rumors that SAG-AFTRA will strike in July. But also I'm hearing rumors that the WGA will strike sooner than we thought. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for what, like, it's the same rules apply. The same rules will apply to Twin Cities Trekkies. The same things will apply. Even though we're not a rewatch podcast, we never have been. And we're not endorsed by Paramount, even though we did get early access to episodes for a couple of years, actually. We got it for season 3 of Picard and also the final season of Star Trek Discovery back in 2024. And, and we got season 2 of Strange New Worlds. We got those early. We didn't get Lower Decks at all. We didn't get Lower Decks seasons 4 or 5 early. But, and we haven't gotten any real, any sort of inkling that we're going to get any new updated, stuff like that, which is okay. I don't care. I mean, we can be on par with the rest of the world. But I'm hearing rumors that WGA will strike sooner than we think. So the same rules apply, though. The same rules apply. Twin Cities Trekkies will go dark if WGA and or SAG-AFTRA do go on strike, because we are pro-union. We support the unions. We support our fellow writers. We support our fellow actors, because it's a yin, like I said before, it's a yin and yang situation. The writers write the words, the actors act the words. So it's a yin and yang situation regarding Star Trek. So, I mean, granted, this era of Star Trek is doing a lot more ad-libbing than they have in the years in the previous era, which is kind of like a nice turn of events. I did not know that. But I heard that the Berman era had to be on point, no ad-libbing. This era is definitely different for that reason. But like I said, we will go dark sooner than we think. So we might have to suspend a lot of our activities if we do so. Which I can understand. I mean, if we do, I don't want to do a bunch of episodes and stuff like that, get it all, stuff like that. But if we start a celebration and we have to suspend it for the strikes, we will. Same with the extravaganza. Same with the celebrations of Enterprise and the original Star Trek. So, and all stuff like that. We will definitely do that. We will go dark again. I mean, I might make audio updates once in a while. I might do that, but I mean, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know, but we'll make it work, folks. We'll make it work. We did it once before. We'll do it again. So um, that's one of the big things I want to talk about. Second big thing is if you haven't heard the news, um, Netflix decided to pull out of their purchase of Warner Bros. Discovery, as Paramount had revised their offer to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, and Netflix decided to pull out. I had made a post about it on our Facebook and Instagram. I struggled trying to find the words to say how very disappointed I am right now. I'm very concerned about what's going on. I'm very, very concerned because ever since the merger with Skydance happened, and this was because of a bribe by the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, and the Ellison family, David and Larry Ellison, who owned Skydance, paid President Trump $36 million to get the merger approved between Paramount and Skydance. And, because Trump had sued CBS for an apparent doctored interview during the 2024 presidential campaign with then candidate Kamala Harris. And they had to sell it out of court and had to sell it with a bribe because Trump had sued CBS for $16 million. And Trump had said, I want an additional $20 million in order to get your merger approved. So he got $36 million out of the deal. Well, as of Thursday evening, last Thursday, Warner Bros. Discovery is going to be sold to Paramount for $110 billion. And this is scary, folks. This is very scary because the freedoms of this country are being slowly suppressed. Slowly. I don't know if you've noticed, if you don't pay attention to the news and stuff like that, I mean, more power to you, but you can't escape what's going on in this country. We have immigration enforcement ignoring the Constitution, especially the Fourth and Fifth Amendments of the Constitution, which are entitled to every person in this country, regardless of their citizenship status. Every person, not citizen. Every person. I want to emphasize that word. Person. Person. Not citizen. So, and the First Amendment rights are being slowly suppressed too, because in case you don't remember, shortly after the merger with Skydance happened, CBS decided to cancel the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, who now Stephen Colbert is on a recurring role on Star Trek Starfleet Academy, which I'm very happy for. I'm happy for him. But definitely, it was shortly after that happened. And then the CCOT story. The CCOT story that was going to be a part of 60 Minutes a couple months ago, talking about the El Salvadorian prison. It was kiboshed hours before broadcast, because of the ombudsman of CBS News, Barry Weiss, had decided to axe it. And thank you, Canada, for airing it, because they aired it uncut. So unconsidered uncut. And now with the Ellisons now potentially owning Warner Discovery, which owns CNN, this is going to be a severe attack on the freedom of the press. Oh no. Okay. It went away. Sorry about that. It went kind of away for a second there. It was unstable for a second there. But I just want to say this first. I am very concerned as a Star Trek fan. Very, very concerned. Because I had to write a statement about it, because I was like freaking out, going like, what am I going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? And so I had been dreading writing this for a number of days. I was doing like, what am I going to do? Because this affects us, not just my podcast, but every other Star Trek podcast out there who gives a damn about what's going on outside of the franchise that could potentially affect them too. It could really affect them too. Because I'm going to read what I wrote, and you may agree with me, you may disagree with me, and that's okay. I mean, disagree. I may be overreacting to it, and I hope I am. So, but I have a legitimate concern about what might happen. So, so, so here's my statement. I had AI kind of help me with it a little bit, just a little bit. So bear with me because I was trying to figure out the right words. So it's been on our minds, first of all. So we appreciate everybody who's been a part of this podcast over the last 5 years. We want to make that sure first and foremost. We didn't want to alienate anybody when what we were saying. So that was the one thing that we were concerned. I was concerned about. If I said, I was gonna like, if I was profanity laden with it, I was gonna be like alienating some fans of the podcast. I didn't want to do that. So it was hard. So I'm going to read the whole statement I wrote. We have been dreading writing this post because it needed to be said. Oh, jeez. What is this? I got an error now. Oh, nuts. What does this mean? Okay. I hope I can still talk. So it says I got an error going on. So I don't know. But I'm hoping that I can get it done. If not, I'll just redo this. I'll just redo this another day. But all right, so maybe I clicked on something. I don't know. So we've been trying to write this because it needed to be said. We struggled to find the right words to say so we don't alienate our audiences. That was true. Today marks a difficult day for the Star Trek franchise as we are now knowing how much that Paramount is going to be purchasing Warner Bros. Discovery for, which was $110 million. This is a deeply concerning time for all of us who are fans, particularly those who make Star Trek podcasts like ours. For nearly 60 years, Star Trek has stood as a beacon of inclusivity, diversity, equality, and a progressive vision of what humanity could become. These values are not just part of its history; they are the reason for its. They are the foundation of its identity, and the reason why it continues to inspire countless generations. With this potential merger between Paramount Skydance and Warner Bros. Discovery, many in our community are deeply concerned about how the direction the franchise could take. There is a real fear that Star Trek could drift toward a more regressive, exclusive, and conformist future, one that does not reflect the ideals that have defined it since 1966. A franchise built on imagining a better world for everyone cannot afford to lose sight of the principles that made it meaningful in the first place. It would also go against the values set forth by the original creator, Gene Roddenberry. We remain hopeful that the broader Star Trek community, especially the actors, writers, and creative voices who have shaped this universe for the past 6 decades, will speak out and actually safeguard the values that have always set this franchise apart. The future of this franchise has always been shaped by those who believe in its mission, and now more than ever, their voices do matter. And I agree with thank you, AI, for helping me with that. But I wanted to say that too because I thought it was hard. It was really hard to talk about this aspect of the franchise because I may be completely overreacting, and I hope I'm not. But I'm really concerned about the franchise's future. I have always been very concerned about the future of Star Trek. I have always been that way, and I have always been Okay, I checked my live stream. I'm still going, but I've always been concerned about the future of Star Trek. I always have been, ever since this merger with Paramount Skydance, and eventually the one with and eventually the one with eventually with Paramount with Skydance and with Paramount Skydance and Warner Bros. Discovery, because they're pretty much going to control what we see and what we do, what we see on our television screens and what we are listening to for the news. Because as I do this, I don't know if anybody keeps track of the international news, but what happened yesterday is that the United States and Israel declared a war on Iran. So, and a lot of things are going to unravel. A lot of things. A lot of diplomatic ties are probably going to be cut. A lot of economic ties are going to be probably going to be cut. You know, and I know. I mean, this was not the way to go, folks. So this was not the way to go. I mean, I don't like. I don't. I mean, since I've been born, I've gone through at least a half dozen wars. Half dozen wars. I went Kosovo, the first Gulf War, the Iraq War, the war in Afghanistan, and now this. And this is a scary time for humanity as well as for our fans as Star Trek fans, because we have fans all over the world. Obviously, Star Trek fans are all over the world, and having this franchise be a beacon of light in the face of such evil needs to be around now more than ever. And I'm concerned about the future of the franchise now that Warner Bros. Discovery is going to possibly be part of the Star Trek franchise. I mean, the creative outlets are endless now. They'll be endless now, because you could potentially have crossovers with. I mean, the creative outlets could be immense for Star Trek. There's no doubt about the creative aspect of Star Trek when this merger happens. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt about like potential crossovers with other franchises, like have a Star Trek DC crossover, or a Star Trek Harry Potter one, or a Star Trek Looney Tunes one, because Looney Tunes is owned by Warner Bros. Discovery. But I am just concerned about what it could do, because we all know if you don't follow the money, the Ellisons are big donors of Donald Trump. They were in 2024, and and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if it comes through right now. I mean, it has to go through a lot of regulatory hoops. Mainly, it has to be approved by the FCC, which probably will. But then it also has to be approved overseas too. It has to be approved in Europe as well, because Paramount Plus is also in Europe. So, and also HBO Max is in Europe as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially now. It may be. I mean, Star Trek may be less numerous, or Star Trek could be put on other streamers. Star Trek could be put on HBO Max, or it could be the whole kit and caboodle could be merged into one big streamer between HBO Max. HBO Max and Paramount Plus. Could see a lot more crossovers. Could see a lot of other things. The creative aspects are endless. I have no doubt about that. I was never in doubt about that. I'm just concerned about the integrity of Star Trek may change. That's one thing I was concerned about regarding the merger between Warner Bros. Discovery and Paramount. So still has a lot of hoops to go through, but I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm hoping that I'm just overreacting, and I hope that Star Trek remains stays true to its vision of a progressive, woke. I'm sorry I'm using that term, but I'm using it very broadly. Woke, progressive, inclusive, diverse franchise. And I'm hoping I'm not just talking out of my ass. So I'm hoping I'm not. So I'm really hoping I'm not. I'm hoping I'm not. I'm hoping I'm overreacting. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm fingers crossed I'm overreacting. But there are a few content creators I follow. They're friends with mine. Um, they've actually been on Twin Cities Trekkies themselves as guests. A couple of them have. Chris and Mary. Um, I follow them on the various socials and stuff like that. I follow Mary. I follow Mary. I follow Chris, and they're both on the boat that's gonna change. So, but I've had a few of my guests on the show and stuff like that, and these people I follow who have been boycotting Paramount ever since the merger between Paramount and Skydance. Uh, so, and they're concerned, and I'm seeking of a podcast content creator who has done this podcast for 5+ years now, and I am concerned about the integrity of Star Trek. I mean, Star Trek's not safe from magazation, but I'm just concerned about the dynamic of the franchise changing from a progressive, woke, inclusive, progressive franchise to a regressive, exclusive, culture. So just to make the mega chuds happy. I'm just going to say that, mega chuds, because many of the people I've encountered who hate this era of Star Trek, who have gone on social media on the various official posts from the Star Trek Facebook page or the other social medias that they admin say scream, Star Trek is too woke. Star Trek's been woke from the beginning, folks. Star Trek's always been progressive since the beginning. And if Star Trek turns into a mega friendly show just to make you happy, then I'm done. So, and I hope that, then I'm done as a fan. I really am done because I don't want to deal with it anymore. If new Star Trek comes around and it's like a bunch of triggered white men, bold and golding where no one's gone before, and a bunch of triggered nobodies who are who act on their feelings, kind of like that, because they whine and complain. That's what MAGA does, because everything they do is a projection. They project. They're like they consider that people like me who are woke libtards, all those things. When in reality, they're the ones who are all those things, all those evil things they say about us as progressive people. So, if the next Star Trek show deals with a crew like that, I'm done. So I don't want to be talking about that. That won't be a Star Trek for me. So, just like I feel about that won't be a Star Trek for me. So, but enough about all that, folks. I just wanted to get those things off my chest because I really wanted to say it first and foremost before I got into the discussion about this episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. So, The Life in the Stars, which is actually a part of the play Our Town. So they chose a 20th century play as an umbrella for the entire episode, because we got Tilly back. Mary Wiseman returns as Tilly for the first time since Star Trek Discovery's final episode 2 years ago. I know that the show was originally going to be surrounding about her, because she was one of the breakout stars from Star Trek Discovery, one of the people that was But due to her other commitments, she was only doing one episode this season. mainly, I don't know if people would know this, but during season 1 of Starfleet Academy, when they were filming season 1, she was on Netflix. She was doing Netflix's The Residence, which is actually a limited show on Netflix about a murder mystery in the White House. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but she's one of the stars of the show. So she was doing that while they were filming season 1 of Starfleet Academy, and I hope she comes back more times next season. But she came back and tries to help the cadets try to overcome their trauma of the Miyazaki, which happened 3 episodes ago, or 2 episodes ago, in Come What's Away, which I thought was a great episode too. And they decided to do a play, and they started to discuss a play about trauma and other things as well. So they chose Sam, played by Carice Brooks, chose Our Town, which is by then over 1,000 years old. So they chose a play from the early 20th century to talk about, to help them overcome the trauma, and they eventually get to it. They eventually understand. They eventually get to it and understand. That's just great. I really enjoyed the whole episode. The whole episode is fantastic. The whole episode is actually actually my second favorite episode of the season now. I would say my favorite episode of the season for it's actually surpassed Series Acclamation Mill, which I thought was a great episode, and it did not do what I thought it was going to do, which I thought it was going to totally ruin the ending of Deep Space Nine, and it didn't. That was a nice surprise, but this episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy is actually my favorite episode of the season so far. We have 2 more episodes to go, so by the middle of the month, we'll be done with live streams for a while. But I really did enjoy this episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, because not only did the cadets, process the trauma finally with talking about Our Town and dealing with their emotions and stuff like that. This is more like we're hammering home our emotions here. We're trying to make it pay off. From 2 episodes ago, and we succeeded at that. But then we also find out that Sam has still been malfunctioning ever since the Miyazaki, and it's because of the fact that her makers did not have a childhood for her. She was just created 209 days prior to the episode, and she was malfunctioning, which I thought was interesting. But we actually got a little bit more character development for the Doctor after 30 years, after 31 years of learning who Robert Picardo's Doctor was, from being a doctor who just did his job, always complained that the program wasn't shut off, to a fully realized individual, with him having freedom with the mobile emitter and other things of the Star Trek, other things of Voyager aspect of it. We actually get why, because in the first few episodes, he was trying to start an opera club, and Sam was trying to ask the Doctor to be his mentor, and the Doctor was very reluctant and said, "No, I'm nobody's mentor." He did say that. We find out why he did that. It's because it ties back into one of my favorite episodes of Voyager, Real Life, from season 3. Fantastic episode. It's my favorite episode of Voyager. It's one of my favorite episodes of Voyager ever. Real Life is one of my favorite episodes of Voyager. Like I said to Kenzie, and I said it on our live episode at Twin Cities Con. The science stuff is cool. The science stuff is awesome in that episode. But what really hones it in is the Doctor, because near the end of the episode, it's like roughly about we're 2/3 of the way to that episode. He, after the B'Elanna has changed the program to be more like real life, and his wife his quote unquote wife working, and his 2 kids do these dangerous things. His daughter, named Belle, gets into an accident playing Parisi squares, and and she asked him, "Hey, am I gonna die?" And then he says, and then he can't deal with the trauma, so he ends the program, and he bottles in all that emotion, bottles it in until they rescue Paris, and then he gets mad at him for being reckless, and then Paris has to ground him and say, if we could get rid of the trauma that we all share, we could. And that the trauma that the whole crew shared was that they were stranded tens of thousands of light years from home. There was no hope of getting home in their lifetime, and they were mourning their loved ones because they were far away from them. So, and he says, like, if you don't deal with it now, you're always going to be stuck at this point. And apparently, he was stuck at that for over 900 years after that, because the ending gets me crying every time. It will. It will get me crying every time. I'm not gonna lie, it does. So apparently, this trauma of his daughter dying on the holodeck on Voyager has prevented him from being a mentor to anybody else, especially Sam. And this, I love that the fact that they gave more character depth to the Doctor with this episode, and I really enjoyed that. It was really great because, like I said, real life is actually one of my favorite episodes from Voyager. It always will be. And I really enjoy that episode very much, and I enjoyed this episode for that too. And the makers decided to give Sam we're about 15 minutes, yeah. So I'm just gonna say this: I really did enjoy that aspect of the episode. I really did, because it gave Sam a childhood, and actually got her a chance to process the trauma of the Miyazaki that way, and the Doctor became her quote unquote father. So, and it made him a better person. It made him a better individual, and I really did enjoy that. And I thought this was great. I thought it was a great aspect of the story. I thought the episode's fantastic. The episode is one of my favorites of the season. We have 2 more episodes to go, and it's going to be great. I know we are. We're going to have a great time with these last 2 episodes. But I really did enjoy this episode, the Life in the Stars. I think they're getting it right, folks. I think they're getting it right now. I mean, yes, I think some of the writers for the various shows have suffered because of the strikes, but like we all know, season 3 of Strange New World wasn't the greatest, but it was still enjoyable. But this first season of Starfleet Academy has been up and down. It has been up and down. I'll give you that. It has been up and down. Most of the episodes have been great, except for one so far, and that was last week's episode, Cosine. In my opinion, I think Cosine is like way down there in the list of episodes that I really enjoyed. Cosine was actually an episode I really struggled to try to get through. But this episode was great. I really enjoyed it for what it was. And I wanted to say that first and foremost, because I know that I wanted to say that stuff because I know that if this episode wasn't great, I probably wouldn't be talking about it this much. But this episode was just fantastic. I mean, we got 2 more episodes to go. One of them is going to be directed by Jonathan Frakes, which is next week's episode. But this episode was great. I really enjoyed it very much. I can't sing much praises about it because this was great. This was a great episode. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm glad that they gave the Doctor a lot more character development. I'm actually surprised that after 900 plus years of being active, he finally gets more character development after 30 years of Star Trek. 30 years in between, because The Doctor has been on Star Trek for a number mm, this would be his eighth year. This would be his seventh year, eighth year, ninth overall season. This would be Robert Carl's ninth overall season doing Star Trek because he did all 7 seasons of Voyager plus season 2 of Prodigy and now season one of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And I'm hopeful that he's going to get another one. He said next season he's going to get another one, but this was definitely, I enjoyed it 100%. This was great, 100%. This is one of the best episodes of Star Trek I've seen in a while. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole season of Starfleet Academy has been great for the most part, except for last week's episode. But I'm excited about the last 2 episodes of the season. I'm hoping that it ends great, just like it did when it began, because I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes were great too. So, but I enjoyed this episode of Starfleet Academy. Can't praise it enough. So 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to call it, it's great. This episode 8 of Starfleet Academy, has been nothing short and fantastic. And just in closing, everyone, I have really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed Starfleet Academy, and hey, if you think it's one of the worst shows on television, that's your opinion. But I think if you lower your guard a little bit and enjoy it, and actually sit down and enjoy it without whining and complaining your way through it, which I know some people would do that, I think you'd probably find a lot more good than they would bad about it. I mean, granted, I know that the dialogue's more geared towards the Gen Zers and Gen Alphas, but hey, if it's a Star Trek that's not for you, that's fine. Just don't be a dick about it. Don't be a jerk. Don't be an ass. Okay? Anywho, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will be back Sunday, March 8th, with live episode number 16, talking about the next episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. So we're going to have, this one's going to be directed by Jonathan Frakes, so we know it's going to be good. So I hope so. Because I know Jonathan Frakes has done some fantastic episodes, and he's done a little bit of clunkers here and there. But hey, it's Star Trek. It's Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, this upcoming episode. So, anywho, so next week, same time, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, talking about episode 9 of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Take care and live long and prosper.